My name is Mike, and I work as a historian specializing in ancient civilizations. I have always been drawn to the mysteries of the past, exploring ancient ruins and deciphering the secrets they hold. This is the story of a terrifying experience I had while exploring a remote cemetery. One summer, I found myself in a small village nestled deep within the countryside. The locals spoke of an ancient burial ground that held relics from a long-forgotten civilization. Intrigued by the prospect of uncovering untold history, I set out to investigate. Armed with my trusty notebook, camera, and a sense of adventure, I arrived at the cemetery at twilight. The air was thick with an eerie stillness, and the fading sunlight cast long shadows over the tombstones. I felt a mix of excitement and trepidation as I ventured deeper into the graveyard. As I wandered through the maze of crumbling graves, I noticed an old mausoleum standing isolated in the corner. Its stone facade was weathered and adorned with intricate carvings. Drawn to its enigmatic presence, I approached cautiously. As I pushed open the creaking doors, a gust of wind swept through the mausoleum, carrying with it a musty odor of decay. The interior was dimly lit, illuminated only by a flickering candle that cast dancing shadows on the walls. Dust particles floated in the air, adding to the sense of timelessness. I began documenting the inscriptions and symbols etched onto the walls, trying to decipher their meaning. Suddenly, a chill ran down my spine, and an unsettling silence settled in. It felt as though the very essence of the place had shifted, as if the spirits of the long-departed were awakening. A soft whispering sound permeated the air, growing louder and more distinct with each passing moment. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end as I strained to make out the words. It was a mournful lament, a ghostly chorus of voices echoing through the chamber. A wave of unease washed over me, and I turned to leave. But as I approached the exit, the heavy doors slammed shut with a resounding thud, trapping me inside. Panic gripped me as I realized I was no longer alone. The candle flickered wildly, casting eerie shadows that seemed to dance with a life of their own. Whispers turned into desperate cries, and a chilling wind whipped through the mausoleum. I felt a presence, an unseen force that pressed against my chest, making it difficult to breathe. In a desperate attempt to escape, I fumbled for my camera and snapped photographs in rapid succession. The flash illuminated the darkness, revealing fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures, their faces contorted with anguish. I knew I had stumbled upon a realm where the boundary between the living and the dead was blurred. Summoning all my courage, I shouted for help, hoping that someone outside would hear my pleas. But my cries were swallowed by the oppressive silence that enveloped the mausoleum. It seemed as though time itself had stopped within those walls. Just as despair threatened to consume me, the doors swung open with a thunderous crash. The sudden rush of fresh air filled my lungs, and I stumbled out into the night, gasping for breath. Exhausted and shaken, I raced back to the village, vowing never to return to that accursed cemetery. The photographs I had taken served as a chilling reminder of the encounter, a glimpse into a realm beyond our understanding. From that day forward, I dedicated myself to preserving the stories of the past, but with a newfound respect for the unknown forces that lie dormant in forgotten places. The experience taught me that there are mysteries that should remain untouched, secrets. My name is Jack, and I work as a paranormal investigator. I have always been fascinated by the supernatural and the mysteries that surround it. It is my job to explore haunted locations and uncover the truth behind the eerie phenomena that occur. One fateful night, I received a tip about a series of unexplained occurrences in an old cemetery on the outskirts of town. The locals spoke of strange sounds, apparitions, and an overwhelming sense of dread that engulfed anyone who dared to enter. Eager to investigate, I gathered my equipment and made my way to the cemetery under the cover of darkness. The moon cast an ethereal glow over the tombstones, heightening the eerie atmosphere. As I walked among the silent graves, I couldn't help but feel a chill run down my spine. I began my investigation by setting up cameras and audio recorders, hoping to capture any paranormal activity. The stillness of the night was broken only by the sound of rustling leaves and my own footsteps echoing through the rows of tombstones. As the hours passed, I started to feel a presence, as if unseen eyes were watching my every move. A sudden gust of wind rattled the branches of nearby trees, causing shadows to dance menacingly across the tombstones. It was as if the spirits of the departed were awakened by my presence. I approached a particularly old mausoleum that seemed to emanate an aura of darkness. The air grew heavy, and a sense of foreboding washed over me. Hesitant, yet driven by curiosity, I pushed open the heavy iron door, revealing a pitch-black interior. I cautiously stepped inside, my flashlight cutting through the darkness. The air was stale, and a pungent odor of decay lingered. Strange symbols adorned the walls, hinting at rituals long forgotten. As I ventured deeper into the mausoleum, the temperature dropped drastically, and an eerie silence settled in. My heart pounded in my chest as I suddenly heard whispers echoing through the chamber. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end, and I knew I was not alone. With each step, the whispers grew louder, and I could make out fragmented phrases, filled with sorrow and desperation. I realized I had stumbled upon a resting place of tormented souls, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. A sudden gust of wind extinguished my flashlight, plunging me into total darkness. Panic welled up inside me as unseen hands seemed to grab at me, tugging at my clothes and hair. I struggled to find my way out, my heart pounding with terror. Just as I thought I would be trapped forever, a faint glimmer of light appeared in the distance. I followed it desperately, crawling and stumbling until I burst out of the mausoleum, gasping for air. The cemetery was silent once again, as if the spirits had retreated into the shadows. Exhausted and shaken, I gathered my equipment and left, vowing never to return to that cursed place. To this day, the memories of that night haunt me. The whispers, the chilling touches, and the overwhelming presence of the supernatural are etched in my mind. It was a reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the realm of the unknown, and the darkness that lurks within the depths of the graveyards. My name is John, and I work as a photographer. I have always had a fascination with capturing moments, whether they are joyous or haunting. This is the story of a chilling encounter I had when I visited the grave of my beloved late girlfriend one night. As the moon cast an eerie glow over the cemetery, I made my way through the rows of tombstones to the spot where she was laid to rest. Sarah, the love of my life, had passed away unexpectedly, leaving a void in my heart that could never be filled. It was a cold and desolate night, with the wind howling through the trees and the leaves rustling underfoot. I approached Sarah's grave, a bouquet of her favorite flowers clutched tightly in my hand. The flickering candlelight created a somber ambience, as if the world itself mourned her loss. As I knelt beside the tombstone, a sense of melancholy washed over me. Memories of our time together flooded my mind, and tears welled up in my eyes. I placed the flowers gently on the grave, whispering words of love and longing. Suddenly, a chill ran down my spine, and a hushed silence enveloped the cemetery. I felt an unnatural presence, as if I were being watched by unseen eyes. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, and a shiver crept down my spine. Curiosity mingled with trepidation, compelling me to stay a little longer. I retrieved my camera from my bag, wanting to capture the essence of the moment. As I peered through the viewfinder, I noticed a faint, ethereal figure standing near a distant tombstone. Heart pounding, I adjusted the focus and pressed the shutter. To my astonishment, the figure materialized in the photograph, a ghostly apparition clad in a flowing white dress. It was Sarah, her features ethereal and translucent. Fear mingled with a profound sense of longing as I gazed at the photograph. It was as if Sarah's spirit had manifested to say one final goodbye. I couldn't deny the evidence before my eyes. There was an otherworldly presence in that cemetery. As I stood frozen in awe, the temperature plummeted, and an icy wind cut through the night air. The apparition of Sarah slowly approached me, her eyes filled with sorrow and a yearning for release. In a whisper that sent shivers down my spine, Sarah's ghost pleaded for me to let her go, to move on from the pain and find peace. Tears streamed down my face as I whispered my love for her, promising to honor her memory and find solace in life. With a final, bittersweet smile, Sarah's ghost faded away, leaving me standing alone in the cemetery. I clutched the photograph tightly, knowing that I had experienced something inexplicable and profound. From that day forward, I carried Sarah's memory in my heart, cherishing the moments we shared and finding solace in knowing that she had found peace. The encounter in the cemetery taught me that love transcends death and that the spirits of our loved ones watch over us, guiding us through life's darkest moments. As a photographer, I continue to capture moments, but now with a deeper appreciation for the unseen world and the enduring power of love. Sarah's presence lingers in my photographs, a reminder that even in the realm of the departed, love remains eternal.